Good. My name is Father Juve Ndaula, a student at St. Ambrose University. I'm now doing Masters in Education, and today I have something for you. A beautiful unit. A beautiful unit about the early years of Republic and the expansion and the expanding nation. This is all about America. If you don't understand your history, you are nothing. And that's why we learn history, that's why we study history, so that we may know where we came from, where we are, and where we are going. America is now a great nation. So this unit is about those early years when those forefathers struggled, they did their best just to lay a great foundation for you. So this topic, this unit, is comprised of 5 chapters. The Federalist era, the age of Jefferson, the nation grow, the age of Jackson, and the manifest destiny. So all these are the 5 chapters which we're going to see in this whole unity. And I will explain in brief, just in brief, what I expect you to learn, what I expect to teach. And I will be guided by 4 questions. I'll be guided by 4 questions. And at the end of this presentation, you will be required to give a feedback. You will give me your feedback if I have just told, I have just explained what I'm expected to teach. And what I need from you is that listen carefully, because you will need to give me your feedback if I have answered those 5 questions correctly and perfectly. So the first question, what do you, the students, need to learn in this unit? Early years, Republic, a growing nation. Now, keep on. These are the main points I will teach you. What happened after the War of 1812? What was this war for? It is called the Revolutionary War. Have you ever heard about this war? Yes? Now, what happened after the war? That is the first thing which I will teach you. And also we have the organization of the new government. You know, at the beginning, the first president, who was the first president?
George Washington.
George Washington. So he had to lay down just a solid foundation. So he had to have a structure of the government. Remember the branches. Well, you know the branches? Different branches? So he did a great job. So I will teach you about those, the organization of the new government. And also, we're going to learn about the causes and effects of the internal and foreign challenges to the new government. The new government had challenges from within and outside. Remember this question of the Native Americans. They were aggressive, they were against those colonies and all that kind of stuff. Also, this question of pirates and other nations like Britain was against the USA. So you will learn all this in this unit. Also, we have the political leadership in the first decade of the 19th century. This is very important. You will learn about different presidents from the first president, George Washington, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson, John Adam Queens, all of those, James Madison, and what did they do for this nation? So, this is within this topic, within this unit, the political leadership in the first decade. And because the nation was just trying to have a foundation at the beginning, so there was this kind of economic change, the changing of economic patterns through the introduction of cotton gin, and the industrialization. With industrialization, you expect to have more industries and other kind of stuff. So there is this kind of correlation between the growing of technology and the expanding of agriculture, the cotton growing. So you will learn all this, the growing of the cotton in southern states. And there is also reform movements in the political and economic spheres that led into the war with Mexico. The war with Mexico. So we have the background of this war, which is from this kind of reform movements in political and economic spheres. The second question. I told you at the beginning that I'll be guided by 4 questions. This is the second question. How will I know that you, students, have learned? How will I know? There are several things which I have to make sure that I follow. And what are these things? And the first thing is that I'll be using the open-ended questions. Open-ended questions, which will be asked during the instruction. And this is kind of effective. It's called effective questioning, which always stimulates your learning and understanding. Have you ever heard about open-ended questions? Yeah. Those are just questions which stimulates you, that instigates you, just to have more knowledge. And so the first thing is that I'll be using open-ended questions during my instruction. And through open-ended questions, I will understand, I will know whether you follow or you don't follow. There will be quizzes. And students don't like quizzes. Yes. Quizzes are the best way of testing whether you understand. There will be quizzes, and most of these quizzes will come at the end of each chapter. I might decide to bring this quiz within, some in between, but hopefully those quizzes will be at the end of each chapter. There will be class activities, and these will be given to monitor the understanding of students. Class activities, different class activities will be working in groups. Those class activities are the ones which will show me whether you understand or not. And there is kind of guidance, rubrics, which I'll be using just to know whether you have done your activities.
I explained that at the beginning.
You will be required also to work on the project. There will be a project in this unit, LAS, and this project will be a kind of multimedia presentation. Everybody will be required to work in the computer lab, and I expect maybe to have you choose any president you like. Those presidents, the early presidents, you choose one and just work on him. You get just the background of his the history of this president, what did he do, and all that kind of stuff. So this will be a kind of a project, and I will test you to see whether you understood, you understand what I taught. There will be exams also, and this will be at the end of the unit. Exam, kind of comprising almost everything in the unit. This will be at the end. Of course, the unit will take us almost 2 months, 8 weeks. So it's kind of bulk of materials. Okay, let's go to the third question. What are the most effective teaching and learning strategies I'm going to use? What are these? This is the very first thing I have to do. Now you are quiet, you are calm. You can follow. A class which is not quiet, if you yell, if you do a kind of goofing, you can't follow. As a teacher, I have to make sure that you observe classroom rules. This is the first thing, this is the first strategy. Without that, you can't impart a knowledge to students. You need this. And also, I'll be using PowerPoint presentation. It's another strategy. Because some of the students can't follow through listening. They want to see pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I need to use PowerPoint presentation. And there will be vocabularies before we start the class, before we start the lesson. And these vocabularies will be sorted out from the book, from the chapter, from the. So you work on those vocabularies before doing the bell work. When the bell goes, you have like 30 minutes working on the vocabularies. This will help you to develop the vocabularies and to have you understand what will be taught during the instruction. There will be video clips, different video clips, and we will be visiting different websites which which just have kind of relationship with our unit, so that we may be equipped with new knowledge, new materials from the websites. This is another thing, group discussion. It's one of the strategies. Most of the students can't work, some of the students can't work alone. They would need like an assistance. They would need like kind of coming together and discuss and come out with a solid stuff. Graphic organizers. And another strategy I will be using is just to accommodate the students with learning disabilities. We are not people. Some of the students are not, can't follow. They have problems, maybe psychological or what. Because we have some of the students who are of this autism, the ADHD. Now the last question, and this will be, how do I know that the school and the system supports your learning? As I'm a teacher, but I'm not alone. I need to see whether the school supports you in this learning, in this unit I'm teaching. Now, how do I know? Because I'll be asking the principal to provide me with sources, different books. Also, always there is this kind of team teaching. Team teaching. You can have like 2 or 3 teachers teaching the same subject. Now, I'll be welcoming some of the social studies teachers to come and just give their views and have kind of teamwork, work together. I expect also a collaboration from the parents.